You are listening to chartingwealth.com's daily review for Friday, the 5th of October, 2018. We see stocks are down for the day, bonds are down, gold is up. Some exciting things to report as we jump into this market. What do we see going on the S&P 500 as we get toward the end of the week? Again, we won't call the candle until the Friday markets close, but we see a red, almost a doji, pushing through the gold. We always mark it in gold. Our gold weekly trend line heading down. We don't have a crossover going down yet on the price percent oscillator, but the derivative oscillator continues to lose lots of energy. We go from the weekly chart to the two-day chart, and we see where it is pushing through just the first day of this latest two-day candle, pushing through the weekly trend line. It's a red down candle. Of course, it's been crossed over going down since all the way back on the 7th of September, went up for a few days and then sideways and now has really started some downward movement. Price percent oscillators heated up. The derivative oscillator has also heated up with some strong down moves. We take a look at what happened during the day on that 4-hour chart. And again, as I told you guys, we are traveling. Things are loading up a little slowly here in Italy for us, but we see down movement in the morning, stronger down movement in the afternoon, a crossover in the morning going down. So again, markets really took a hit over the course of the day. We go from the S&P 500 on the weekly chart to the Qs. Of course, we can see something important happening on the price percent oscillator as it spikes down. Derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum on that weekly chart as we have a green spinning top, means indecision tending up, of course, on our Heikin Ashi candlesticks. We go to the two-day chart. What do we see? We see a strong bounce off that red signal line heading down. First day of the latest two-day candle. Big red wick on the bottom. A red down candle after 3 days of green up movement. And again, that's just the first day of the latest two-day candle. We look at the 4-hour chart. Here's what we have been waiting for as this chart slowly loads up. Of course, I've reviewed it before I did the program today. If our chart will just load for us, we actually have, you will see a crossover going down. There we go, finally. Crossover going down in the morning. Big red candle down in the morning. Another big red candle down in the afternoon. This was a trigger event for you to jump into a down move on a virtual play on the Qs. We have been waiting, and it finally happened. You guys know that. You've been listening. I hope you jumped in the afternoon on your practice trade on QID or something similar. That is an inverse fund. If you want to know more about inverse funds, we'll attach to the end of today's daily market review the training we have on inverse funds, how to make money when markets crash. Very important for you to look at. Next, we will go to TLT, 20-year bonds, down for the day as we expected it to be because we had a weekly vertical crossover going down back on the 14th of September, going into our 4th week of strong down movement. Derivative oscillator gaining momentum. Price percent oscillator also heading down. We look at the two-day chart, and we see that, of course, the first day of this latest two-day candle is the biggest down candle we have seen going back all the way to the crossover going down on the two-day chart. So again, we see the price percent oscillator heading down. Derivative oscillator gaining some additional downward momentum. And of course, we go now to the 4-hour chart. Like I said, I am traveling and I don't have any control over how fast the internet connection is here in Venice, Italy. We see that down movement in the morning followed by more down movement in the afternoon, blowing through the two-day trend line. Of course, we had that crossover on the 4-hour chart going down in the morning on Wednesday. So again, things just continue to add up quite well for our weekly vertical crossovers, both on QQQ, which is the Nasdaq 100, and TLT. Lastly, we go to gold, the only thing on our charts up for the day. And again, we're waiting for gold patiently to see if it's going to cross over by the end of the week. So far, we have a green spinning top, almost a doji, means indecision, tending down. Price movement is still below that 2-day trend line. That's not a really good trend line, but we look at the derivative oscillator. That is flipped over to positive. We go to our 2-day chart in gold. And again, gold up for the day 0.06%. And if our 2-day chart will just load for us, we will be so happy. Is it going to do it as we get to the end of the broadcast? I so want to bring that to you. And if I can do it, I will, but it is just not cooperative. There we go. Okay, we see on the 2-day that again is sort of just paralleling what we saw over the last 2 days, just the first day of the latest 2-day candle. Derivative oscillators gaining upward momentum, price percent oscillator headed up. And of course, we'll load up this 4-hour chart, but do keep in mind what we're really waiting for here is to see if we're going to have a weekly vertical crossover going up on gold. We may not have it by the end of this week. If we don't have it, we don't have it. But we will sure look and see how things look in gold as the next week starts. If it doesn't happen this week, it may happen over the course of the following, particularly if the markets go down. Now we look at the 4-hour chart up in the morning, bit of a pullback in the afternoon, giving us a day of 0.06%. Derivative oscillator lost a little bit of energy. Price percent oscillator still heading up. But that's where we are as we end the day. So things are going just as we predicted they would on the S&P 500, which is again getting close on that weekly chart to potentially crossing over, going down. But in particular, QQQ, which has finally started substantially moving down. Remember, those are the tech stocks, the Nasdaq 100, and we're waiting to see if gold is going to cross over, going up. And of course, TLT 20-year bonds continue to ratchet down, and that inverse trade is going wonderfully. That's where we are, folks, as we end the day and go into Friday, the 5th of October. Remember, at the close of the market on Friday, we will prepare for you a comprehensive review and forecast for this week and the coming week. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.